When you start to look at investment properties, you'll start to hear the term yield a fair bit. So what people usually mean is gross rental yield. I'll explain what this is, how to calculate it, and why it's possibly not the most important measure you have. So gross rental yield is calculated as annual rents divided by the property value times by 100. So say a property rents for $600 a week. That's $31,200 a year in rent. And if this property is worth $600,000, then the gross rental yield is 5.2%. So is that good? In New Zealand right now, it is, because if you can aim for something around 5%, you're generally doing pretty well, depending on the type of property and location and things. But there are a few things that this measure misses. So number one, potential for capital growth. You might be willing to take a lower rental return on the basis that the property has better upside. So for example, I generally expect that an apartment needs to have a better rental yield, as it's less likely to have as good a capital gain as, say, a standalone house with land, which of course depends on a whole heap of factors. Number two, costs. You might have noticed, but that rental yield completely ignores costs altogether. So this can mean a massive difference depending in New Zealand where the property is, because council rates and insurance can be massively different depending where the property is. So a property with the numbers we looked at could be completely different in reality depending on where in New Zealand it actually is. And ignoring costs on a rental property is not something I would recommend if you're making a good investment decision. Thanks for tuning in.